Well, hello, and welcome to some Ruinarch news. My name's Trusten. We're back again with update 10 here for Ruinarch. It looks like the devs are going to take some time off, well-deserved time off if you ask me, and they will get back to developing in March. Their next update is due out in May. Some of the things that we have to look forward to in this update, though, is some new buildings, ideologies, and weapons. So we do have the legendary forge and legendary weapons that are now introduced in update 10. There are multiple weapons that can be forged. We have Mantra, Fang, Savage, Eclipse, and Citrus, all with their own unique powers. You have Mantra, the sword, that will provide immunity against all afflictions. Fang is a dagger that occasionally inflicts random afflictions on targets. Savage is an axe that deals triple damage against demonic creatures and structures. You have Eclipse as a staff that steals some mana whenever it deals damage. And Citrus is a bow that may tame targets if it's an undead creature. So that could definitely change the way the game is played if you have that legendary forge in your game. The ideologies that have been introduced are the Breeder's ideology, the Tower Defense ideology, and the Wyvern Tamer's ideology. The playthrough that you see in the background here has the Wyvern Tamer's ideology. I have seen both the Breeders and the Tamers. They both look very interesting. I haven't experienced the lightning or arrow towers yet, but I do once again think that that's going to change how we have to play the game once I encounter them. I will say that the baby wyverns and the wyverns themselves are not too overwhelmingly powerful. However, when a village does get 5 or 6 of them, it makes it very challenging to try to snatch somebody within the village. And going in from the ideologies, we do have our new factions. We have the Wiccans, Divine Church. The Wiccans are a group of people that are nature purists as opposing to the demon cult. So they will have more nature attack skills and base skills. Think of it as the exact opposite as the demon cult. For each living witch on the map, your chaotic energy is going to increase by 5%, so you'll need more chaotic energy to cast spells. And then we have the Divine Church. The Divine Church are essentially people that worship other gods, other demons, other deities, whatever it may be. They do have clerics, which are kind of like the cultists that we have, and they can spread their religion onto the masses as well. So it's a good idea to get rid of all of those people. Each living cleric on the map will disable one ability until they're killed. So it's a good idea to kill them quick. In addition to the factions and ideologies, there is a new landmark called the Hallowed Grounds. Essentially, the new factions, the Wiccans and the Divine Church and then our Demon Cult, will fight over the Hallowed Grounds. Whoever controls these grounds will do double damage to any other religion. So if you have a demon cult, it's a good idea to try to get them situated in or around the Hallowed Grounds so you can take out your rivals relatively easily. There is also a new relationship that can occur between villagers, and that is called obsession. It's when, well, it sounds like it, when one villager is obsessed with another. Now, they do not recommend killing off an obsessed character's target, but of course you know that's going to happen. The devs have also updated the stalkers to make them more dangerous against lycans, vampires, and cultists. Stalkers can't be turned into lycan, vampires, or cultists. Lycans, vampires, and cultists can't change class to a stalker, so that'll eliminate some of the bugs that I was seeing when I was playing. They've also increased their abilities as they level up. So at level 2, they'll always deal critical damage to lycans, vampires, and cultists. Level 3, they'll be able to identify lycans, vampires on sight. And at level 4, they'll be able to identify cultists on sight. At level 5 martial arts, they'll be able to purify lycans, vampires, and cultists from their faction instead of attacking them. So they'll be able to purify them and convert them, making the stalkers relatively dangerous to our cults. There have also been some changes to recruitment of monsters for various factions. So for example, the Elven Kingdom will only recruit beasts. They'll rarely recruit demonic creatures unless there is a cultist as the leader, or any demonic creature as the leader. Then they will recruit more demons rather than beasts. Human empires will only recruit humanoids. Rarely will they recruit demonics unless the aforementioned happens to them. Vampire clans will only recruit undead. Lycans will usually recruit beast, and they will butcher capture humanoid. Wiccans will usually recruit beast and humanoids. They will always kill demons and undead. Divine Church will actually kill all captured monsters. And the bandits may rarely recruit humanoids. Some of the new villager traits that were added, these are actually kind of interesting, is they've added a slick character who cannot be stored as a target. I use the targeting system quite often, so the slick characters did throw me off a bit here and there. Heavy characters can't be seized. Null Child means that any power used against the Null Child will be disabled until the Null Child dies. So if you use, say, Water Splash against the Null Child, you can't do that until you kill off that Null Child. Grounded characters absorb all of the mana. So, for example, if I use Lightning on a grounded character, they will take all of your mana. Jinxed characters, whenever they enter a bad or critical mood, it saps a small amount of chaotic energy from the player. So you got to make sure that you try to keep, even though they're not on your team, you got to keep them relatively happy so you don't lose your chaotic energy. And negative Nancy's reduce the mood of other players around them. Great, in my opinion, as cultists, just for fun. Devout characters are more likely to pray. The only villager that can spontaneously become a Wiccan or cleric and start one of the other factions. So if you have any devout characters, you definitely want to keep an eye on them. There have also been quite a few tweaks to the game to try to make it better. They've added a new monster, which is a Gorgon. I haven't met the monster yet, so I don't know how they react or what they do, but I am excited to interact with them. Demon worship no longer is a crime initially. Still becomes a crime later on, but initially if someone sees it, they don't automatically assume you're worshiping with demons. Reduce the cost to reveal villagers from 8 to 4. Added a log where monsters summoned to defend village through shaman ritual, so we can now see that. Dead bodies outside of houses of unknown characters will no longer trigger the murder assumption of nearby villagers, although I still think that's really funny. Reduce nature HP to 1800. I'm sorry, nature spirit HP. They've also added new items from treasure chests, so if you have a party that's going out looking for or clearing out a cave or whatever and they come across a treasure chest, could have basically the blueprints for that faction's special item. So it could be like the blueprints for the Wyvern Coop, the Beast Pens, Arrow Tower, or Lightning Tower, whatever the ideology of that faction is. Poison Cloud also deals poison damage. That's probably a good thing. And then they rebalanced agoraphobia. Vampire Lords now have melee combatants that can equip a sword, so that's really good. And then finally, at Combat Magic level 4, mages learn Polymorph, which is a crowd control skill for combat. And that is the overview of Ruinarch Update 10. Again, the next one will be in May, the devs have said, but I'm really looking forward to continue playing this update and seeing all the new things that they've added here. But until next time, my friends, this is Trusten signing out. Cheers.